All right, it's time to talk about Zoom. Woohoo! So that's the very first step we need to do, set up your Zoom settings. When you sign into Zoom online, you're going to sign in with Google so that you can use your KIPTC account because that allows you to have more features. You're going to want to go to settings, and I'm going to quickly talk you through these. You definitely want the waiting room on because that avoids Zoom bombs, because then you can control who comes in and out, and those are really, really terrifying. Some of these I'm not going to explain. You don't need to require a passcode since you have the waiting room. So these 3 passcodes you can leave unchecked. Instead, the passcode is embedded in your invite. I would not require a passcode for participants joining by phone. And you won't want kids to need to be authenticated, at least not right now, if they are the only ones with your unique link, which they will hopefully access through Clever. That just adds an extra burden in case they aren't signed in 100% correctly. You'll want the host to start with their video on and the participants to start with their video on so that that's a norm. You'll want telephone and computer audio just in case. You don't want anyone to be able to join before the host. And you will want to enable personal meeting idea and use your personal meeting idea when scheduling. Use your personal ID for an Instastart. That way, you can just have one ID that you're always using for all your meetings and you don't actually need to schedule them. I don't mute participants upon entry because I want the kids to be able to talk, and I don't send out upcoming meeting reminders. If you do that, you can just do that by email. In the meeting, we don't need encryption. We do need a chat. Even though it's a little bit worrying to think that kids could chat when you don't want them to, I have turned this off before and been very sad when then I can't chat a kid something I really need to send them, like a Nearpod link. So you definitely don't want to turn off chat. And you don't need to turn on private chat since you have chat. I like to autosave the chats so then if there is something on chat I don't like, it will be there for me to go back to and look at to talk to a kid about. And I like the sound notification on when someone joins or leaves, specifically because it's going to be hard to keep your eye on every kid in the class. And this way, if you hear a ding, you can be like, uh-oh, somebody left. I'm going to need to see what happened. I leave on file transfer because why not? I don't want to take up time with my kids needing to give feedback to Zoom. I don't want to take up my time with a feedback survey. I'm going to enable co-host because maybe I have an inclusion teacher. I'm going to enable polling for high engagement. And I want to be able to see my toolbar. I want to be able to see Zoom while I'm screen sharing. Definitely you want to screen share, and I would say to start, only the host. And maybe at some point you allow other kids to share. And I have been disabling the screen share for other users, disabling annotation. And the reason for that is that kids can write on things while you're talking. You will probably undo these later on. We want to be able to have a whiteboard. We want to be able to control the content, let kids give nonverbal feedback and meeting reactions. This is really important, again, because there are Zoom bombing issues. We do not want removed participants to rejoin. We do not want participants to rename themselves because then we can know exactly who they are when they sign on. And there's no need for their participant profile. If, in case there is Zoom bombs, we do want to be able to report participants to Zoom. We definitely want a breakout room. You can check this and try to assign participants to breakout rooms while scheduling. And this might one day work if everyone is using Clever to sign in, and then you know that they have certain usernames. But I don't know when that will be set up. And so I think for now, just having breakout rooms be something you can do in the moment is the best plan. If you check remote support, then you don't do the breakout room, so don't check that. For now, most kids do not need closed captioning, but you can check that if you need to. The same with saving captions. The same with language interpretation. That depends on your class and your kids. You don't need far end camera control. I would not let kids do a virtual background because I know my own kids spend hours trying to do that instead of listening to me over Zoom when I try to practice teach them. I don't identify guests. I don't do auto answer group or sending email invites. A lot of this stops applying to kids. This doesn't really matter, but use HTML. Don't allow stereo audio. Don't allow original sound. Don't have data center regions. Definitely letting people join from their browser is good. We don't live stream. I don't do any of this. Requesting permission to unmute or the live stream. And really the same thing here. This is very much up to you. I really like to have a notification when an attendee joins a meeting because then I get an email when they say that someone's waiting for me there. But not when a meeting is canceled or when an alternative host, or even here, nobody really schedules a meeting for me or does that. The same with all the rest of the stuff down to the end. It's not really that big of a deal. Now, the last thing is if you go over here to meetings, you can see your personal meeting room. and in your personal meeting room. This link is the link that now anyone can join you and meet you in your room. If you just go here and say start meeting and send that to someone, they can meet you. You can schedule the meetings. I usually don't do that. That's totally up to you to explore and talk to other people about. Through here, you can make polls in advance that can be ready to use if you want to use them. And then you're ready to at least start the Zoom meeting safely so that no one is Zoom bombed and so that you have access to all the tools you need.